Have you ever wondered about the roots of the seemingly endless conflict in the Middle East, specifically the Palestinian issue? This question may have crossed your mind as you sift through countless news stories, opinion pieces, and social media posts. The Palestinian issue, a decades-long tangle of history, politics, and emotions, is no simple topic to unravel. It's a narrative marked by clashes of national aspirations, territorial claims, and the struggle for self-determination. In the following scenes, we aim to give you a chronological overview of this issue. We'll start from the early Ottoman rule, traverse through the tumultuous times of the British Mandate, witness the birth of Israel and the ensuing Nakba, and delve into the wars and intifadas. We'll then examine the current situation and ponder over future prospects. To fully grasp the complexity of the Palestinian issue, we must delve into its history. Stay tuned as we embark on this enlightening journey. Our journey begins during the time of the Ottoman Empire, stretching to the period of the British Mandate. In the late 19th century, Palestine was a part of the vast Ottoman Empire, a realm that spanned 3 continents. The land was predominantly agricultural, and its inhabitants, a blend of religions and cultures, lived in relative harmony. However, the Ottomans' grip on the region began to loosen as the winds of nationalism swept across Europe and the Middle East. With the onset of World War I, the Ottoman Empire aligned itself with the Central Powers, setting the stage for a dramatic change in Palestine's destiny. The British, in an attempt to gain the support of the world's Jews, issued the Balfour Declaration in November of 1917. This document expressed Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. It's crucial to understand the implications of the Balfour Declaration. It kindled the hopes of Zionists who saw in it a promise for a Jewish homeland. However, it also sowed confusion and concern among the Arab population of Palestine, who constituted about 90% of the region's inhabitants. They feared that the influx of Jewish settlers would lead to their displacement. Following the end of World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate over Palestine. The British, now in control of the region, found themselves caught between the aspirations of the Zionist movement and the growing nationalist sentiments of the Palestinian Arabs. Despite mounting tensions, waves of Jewish immigrants, fleeing persecution in Europe, continued to arrive in Palestine throughout the 20s and 30s. The demographic shift further fueled the unrest, leading to sporadic outbreaks of violence. The seeds of conflict were sown during this period, setting the stage for the struggles that would follow. The British Mandate period, with its political maneuvering and escalating tensions, marked a significant chapter in the history of Palestine. It was a time of changing demographics, rising nationalism, and deepening divisions, the repercussions of which are still felt today. The year 1948 marked a significant turning point in the region's history. This was the year when the State of Israel was established, a development that dramatically shifted the political landscape of the Middle East. The United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution in November 1947, recommending the adoption and implementation of a plan to partition Palestine into an Arab state, a Jewish state, and the city of Jerusalem. Despite the vehement opposition from the Arab countries, the plan went into motion, leading to the creation of the State of Israel in May 1948. Simultaneously, the Arab-Israeli War erupted, a war that involved the young State of Israel and a coalition of Arab nations. The war, marked by a series of violent conflicts, resulted in an Israeli victory. However, the cost of this war was high, particularly for the Palestinian people. During this period, a mass exodus of Palestinians occurred, which is known in Arabic as the Nakba, or catastrophe. This term encapsulates the profound sense of loss experienced by the Palestine Arabs. An estimated 700,000 Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes during the 1948 war, leading to a refugee crisis that has persisted for decades. The Nakba is not just a historical event, it's an ongoing experience for Palestinians. The loss of homes, lands, and a sense of belonging has been inherited by subsequent generations. The displaced Palestinians and their descendants live in refugee camps in neighboring Arab countries, under Israeli occupation, or in the global diaspora. They carry with them the keys and deeds to their lost homes, symbols of their longing for return. The creation of Israel and the Nakba are two sides of the same historical coin. For Israelis, 1948 represents the fulfillment of a dream, a place of refuge, and a homeland. For Palestinians, it symbolizes dispossession, exile, and suffering. the events of 1948 have left a lasting imprint on the region and continue to influence the conflict today. In the following decades, the conflict intensified with full-blown wars and uprisings known as intifadas. The Six-Day War of 1967 marked an era of increased tension and dispute. Israel's victory resulted in their control over the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights. This territorial expansion ignited international debate and further fueled the Palestinian quest for self-determination. Just 6 years later in 1973, the Yom Kippur War erupted on the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. With a coalition led by Egypt and Syria, the war was a surprise attack on Israel, creating a ripple effect of global concern. The conflict ended in a military stalemate but left a lasting political impact, with Israel realizing its vulnerability and the Arab states recognizing the strength of Israel's allies. The late 20th century saw the rise of the intifadas, Palestinian uprisings against Israeli occupation. The first intifada, which began in 1987, was characterized by civil disobedience, strikes, boycotts, and demonstrations. It was a grassroots movement that amplified the Palestinian voice on a global scale. The Second Intifada, starting in the year 2000, was markedly more violent. Suicide bombings and military operations resulted in a high number of casualties on both sides, fostering an environment of fear and mistrust. These wars and uprisings have had profound implications for both Israel and Palestine. They've reshaped the geographical, political, and social landscape of the region. The territorial disputes following the 1967 war remain unresolved, and the intifadas have highlighted the urgency of addressing the Palestinian issue. However, these events have also complicated the path to peace. They've deepened the enmity, hardened attitudes, and created a cycle of violence that continues to this day. The scars of these conflicts are etched into the collective memory of both Israelis and Palestinians, influencing their perceptions and responses to each other. These periods of intense conflict have deepened the divide and fueled the ongoing strife. Fast forward to the present day, where the situation remains complex and volatile. Today, the region is marked by divisions, both physical and ideological. The West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip are the epicenters of this enduring conflict. The West Bank, largely under Israeli military control, is a patchwork of Palestinian towns and Israeli settlements. These settlements, considered illegal under international law, are a significant roadblock to peace. They're not just houses on a hill. They're a political statement, a declaration that this land is or will be part of Israel. East Jerusalem, a city of religious significance and nationalistic fervor, is another flashpoint. Both Palestinians and Israelis claim it as their capital. The city is currently under Israeli control, but its status remains one of the thorniest issues in the peace process. The Gaza Strip, meanwhile, is controlled by Hamas, a group considered a terrorist organization by the United States and the European Union. Its residents face a dire humanitarian situation exacerbated by a strict blockade. The path to peace is riddled with obstacles. Settlements, borders, the status of Jerusalem. These are not just issues on a negotiation table. They are deeply rooted in history, religion, and identity. They are challenges that have defeated numerous peace proposals over the years. From the Oslo Accords in the 90s to the Trump administration's deal of that century, various attempts have been made to resolve the conflict. Some have brought hope, others disappointment, but none have achieved lasting peace. So what does the future hold? It's hard to say. The political landscape is constantly shifting and new generations are inheriting the conflict. The stakes are high and the world watches with bated breath as each new chapter unfolds. The future of the Palestinian issue remains uncertain with many challenges ahead, but one thing is clear: the quest for a just and lasting peace continues, and the world will be watching. The Palestinian issue is a complex tapestry, woven with threads of history, conflict, and human struggle. From the early days of Ottoman rule to the British Mandate, the region has been a hotbed of political and cultural tensions. The birth of Israel and the Nakba marked a turning point, igniting a series of wars and intifadas that continue to shape the present and future of Palestine. As we delve into the current situation and future prospects, it's clear that the landscape is far from simple. The struggles and triumphs of the past serve as a backdrop to a future that is yet to be written. The Palestinian issue is not just a political or territorial dispute, but a human story of resilience and hope. It is essential to grasp this intricate history to truly understand the present state of affairs. It's through understanding this complex history can we hope to find a path towards a peaceful solution.